I'd like to tell you a little bit about a recent trip I had to Lebanon along with 3 other trustee and staff members. Our purpose was to visit our partners in Lebanon, but particularly I thought I would like to tell you a bit about the situation we found in relation to the refugees. As you're probably aware, there's a huge influx of Syrian refugees into Lebanon, probably getting up to about 1 million in a country where the population is only 4 million. But behind all the figures, there's the individual stories, and that's what really impacts you when you go there. I can think of 2 young girls we met in Beirut who had their story relayed to us through an interpreter. They were 12 years of age. They'd been in Beirut for several months, having come from Aleppo into North Lebanon and then down to stay with a relative. The one young girl told us about how she was kept off school because it was getting so dangerous to reach school because of snipers. Fortunately, her parents did keep her off those few days because during that time the school was bombed. Her young brother still gets nightmares or panic attacks if he hears an aeroplane flying over Beirut. Second young girl, again 12, told us about escaping with her family on a bus. Imagine getting a bus with all your worldly possessions. Her auntie was shot through the thigh before they could get away. She witnessed that.
What was the hardest for me and for the colleagues that I was with to see was just how little the refugees had. We visited refugees in several different homes, and we were able to see them in both apartments and also living in tents. In many cases, a number of different families would be living together. But in all cases, they just had so few personal possessions. Each family, what was quite interesting was that each family did have a TV, and I understood this to be really important to them because this connected them with their families and friends back home, and also with what was happening in Syria. But for the most part, that was all that they had. And I think the thing that shocked me the most was visiting a family in a tent who all they had was a stove which had been donated to them by an NGO, a local NGO working in the area, and a stool that one of their children was sitting on, and they also had a TV. And they didn't have any bedding or mattresses, the tent was completely empty except for those 3 items, and I found that to be hugely shocking.
The other big area that we looked at was in the Bekaa Valley, where we've given quite a lot of money to support a church that's helping refugees in a town called Zakli.
They're working with both Christian and Muslim families, and what's happening in this community is that the Muslims are actually coming back to them and asking them if they can attend the Sunday service.
We were taken there to a furniture store, and we met families who were living in that converted furniture store. They've very few possessions, and through the money we've given via the church there, they've been supplied with mattresses, blankets, and they get 2 food boxes every month. And I suppose, to my shame, the one thing I have to say was I knew we'd be meeting refugees, but I'd not really stopped to think about who they were or what they were like. In fact, they're people like you and me, like my children and my grandchildren, just ordinary people who've lost everything. When can they get back home? Possibly never.